All right, everybody, welcome to the Strategy Drop. This is going to be a quick rundown of why you are invisible online. I've taught a bunch of classes lately, and folks are asking the question, I make a bunch of content, Mark, but the content doesn't click. What is it? What am I doing wrong? How can we get traction? So if you're an expert in anything, you bring expertise, you have real experience. You are not just some flash in the pan, but you're trying to share your insights, and nobody cares. No one is following along. You're having difficulty getting traction, building the audience. There's a reason for it, and I'm going to tell you right now what you're doing wrong and what you need to do to fix it. So let's dig right in. This is part of what I'm going to be doing on a regular series. I'm calling it the Strategy Drop, and today's episode is why smart experts stay invisible. If that's you, grab a notebook. All right, so you're smart and experienced. You have real client backgrounds, like you've dealt with folks in the business world. You have meaningful insights. You've lived a bit. You've seen some things. And you are an advanced expert, right? We're not talking about the beginners who are fronting. You are trying to build a client base, a referral patch, a network, whatever it may be. The visibility isn't about you. It's not how talented you are. The big mistake people make is overlooking that it's about the clarity with which you bring what you do. In other words, if people don't understand what you do and how you can help them right away, then they're not going to pay attention. So if you're not collecting an audience, or at least the size you want, it's because you're not doing a good enough job being clear about what you can do for folks. The muddy signals problem comes from this. You have a generic message up top, right? You sound like everyone else, and you have no clear audience because of that. And the reason is you don't have a posting system. And that doesn't mean AI content generation, push button, ChatGPT. It means a strategy around who you're helping and how. Now, we'll dig into that in a second, but I want to identify the problem that you have. If you're not building the audience you like, then it is your messaging. It is not reaching a specific audience. And so you need a system to do that. Expertise that's not being made clear to the market may as well not exist. Right? You know things. You've got your frameworks and your process. I worked on Wall Street for 30 years. Like, I've got some insights in the business world. But when folks don't know that, they just hear content, consultant, coach, strategy, all the crap that the gurus are spewing, and you fall in with the other noise. So this is about separating signal from noise. They need to know what you can do for them. What is the problem you own, as I've heard it said. Otherwise, they scroll right on by. So that's the problem. The problem is clarity. What do we do about it? You get clear, and we're going to dig into that. If you get clear, those lurkers stop saying either nothing or nice post. That's infuriating when I see this. I don't mean for my own content. I mean when I'm scrolling through or I'm about to leave thoughtful comments in some other influencer's posts, and there's a bunch of, hey, couldn't agree more. Love that. Absolutely. Every morning, Justin Welsh posts, and there's a whole stream of definitely, totally agree, nice post. None of that matters. That means that they're not clear. You haven't sparked in them an emotional reaction. So the clarity shift is you get your message to connect. There's going to be storytelling involved in that, action steps. We'll go through that in a second. But when you do connect, you'll know because they direct message you. I don't mean just in the content comments. I mean people ping you. Hey, man, just wanted to connect. Love what you wrote. Anyone that posts any kind of powerful content has had this response where someone else reaches out and references it, right? That is how you become the industry authority. Many of my clients are CEOs on Wall Street, financial bosses and I mean they run the company in New York City. And they don't understand why they're not the industry authority. Meanwhile, they have zero content out there. So I'm not here to poop on anybody. I'm letting you know that if you have expertise, if you've lived the life a bit, if you can bring insight to someone who's lower on the learning curve, and you don't, then you're not going to become the industry authority no matter how much you want to. This is about communication in the digital world. Digital communication precedes IRL relationships. That's what this really comes down to. There's no magic. There's no trick where content opens up the world and you're going to suddenly become a billionaire. It is merely relationship building done with digital tools. So here's your action plan. This is what you can actually do. Number one, ask yourself the hard truths. If you If someone that didn't know you just read 3 of your posts, just randomized, they picked out any 3, because that is what's happening out there, would they know what you do, who you help, and why it matters? If they don't know those 3 things, just not even knowing you, just consuming your content, they understand what you do, who exactly you help, and why it's important. Building relationships is important in the world of where AI we're heading into, where everyone's going to be connecting without any real relationship. That's not loyalty. Like, business comes, you may want to pretend we're not humans, but there's an emotional thing underneath it all. And yes, I know about blockchain trust and all of that, and that's true. But the bottom line is, if you want to really build a long-term business, there needs to be a relationship with you. And it starts with what they call a parasocial relationship. They feel like they know you from your content. So the content has to speak to that. Pick out any random 3 posts. Would people know what you're about? Number 2, clarify your offer. I personally struggled with this for a very long time. In the beginning, I did everything from social media management. I was for a bit doing AI, assisting of people at build outs. The offers, you can do a lot of things. Everyone can do a lot of things. 30 years on Wall Street, I can talk about finance. I understand institutional trading. The reality is, what is your problem that you own, right? What do you offer? What specific problem do you solve? For me, it is content marketing, sales. People that are building a business didn't get the training they should have, period. And this goes in the corporate world as well. But I can tell you from 30 years in finance, they didn't teach you one thing about what is a lead magnet? How does a digital funnel work? Like, all of the things that make business happen online is completely left out of the corporate world. And so that's not specifically my target market. But my point is, a lot of folks are going to have to learn a lot of business principles very quickly as we go into the AI world. So you can call it online education. You can call it whatever you want to call it. But like, the problem is going to grow. And that is the problem I want to own. And that is partly why I'm doing what I'm doing here. Number 3, you define your audience. Who needs the solution the most? Everybody wants to grow their business. Everybody wants to get rich. Everybody wants to know how finance works, how to build an online thing. Everybody. Everybody's not a market. You've got to be specific in who you help. So for me, it's mid-level founders, people who have established businesses, and it is established experts who just can't get the traction in content. Years ago, I had a conversation with my buddy Antonio, and he put it perfectly. He said, "Oh, so you got 2 problems there, Mark. Official business people who don't understand content, and content native people who just don't understand real business. Those are 2 different problems. Those are 2 different avatars." I struggled with that for years. I went back and forth between the 2. You need to determine who you're serving. Who's the audience? For me, it is business people who don't understand the content thing, right? There's no better or worse here. It's whatever you like, but just get clear on it. Number 4, you have to anchor your offer in an authority statement. What is an authority statement? An authority statement, generally speaking, is I help X achieve Y without Z greatest fear, right? I help business owners grow their revenue through content without getting stuck on the content treadmill, something like that. That's not the point. The point is that you have to have a unique approach in how you do it. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry is making everybody a billionaire, right? 5 minutes on LinkedIn and you know what I'm talking about. How do you do it? The fact that I come out of Wall Street, proper business, I understand EBITDA. Like, I understand how folks build recurring revenue. I had a situation with a client the other day. He built an unbelievable, cool tech widget. And I'm like, what's the upsell? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, once these people, you've satisfied them, how do you make money? What is the business model? I don't know. What do you mean? Like, there's 6 different ways to monetize people. Do you know them? No. Okay, let's step back. My point is, unique business approach. What do you bring? If you come out of the digital marketing space and you're content native, you know all the tricks. I don't claim to be Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm not going to be as good as someone who's been doing this for 40 years. However, I guess that'd be 25 years. The reality is, you have some advantage. What is in your history, your backstory, comic book origin number 1, that makes you uniquely great at being the person solving that problem? When you can answer these questions, what is your clear offer? Which audience do you clearly serve? How do you have a unique process based on where you come from that does that? When you can do this, you can start to get traction. People will start to follow. They'll want to know more because they'll understand what you're about. This isn't about that you're smarter than the next guy. Different is better than better. It's a marketing truism. So the reality is you need to define all this. This is strategic overview before you're going to get traction. It'd be great if you got some, viral hit that just suddenly gets you a lot of eyeballs, but that's not a business. Years ago, I was on stage at the Creator Economy Expo, which is now the Content Entrepreneur Expo. And I'm chatting with Joe Pulizzi in the corner. And I'm like, Joe, the problem with most creators is they don't understand that creating is different from running a business, right? You're a business owner. You have to have a strategy, not just I get on Twitch and I stream for 6 hours and I'm making $3 million a year. Yes, but that's not a business strategy. So my point is, get clear on these things, anchor your authority, make sure you know where you're going, who you're serving, how you're doing it. If this type of thing is interesting to you, if this type of overview appeals to you and you want deeper dives on this, I do this every Wednesday night, Eastern time, live, 4 times a month. And if you're interested, we call it the Authority Engine. You're welcome to join. So that's it. That's all I got for you folks. This is not meant as a pitch. We'll be back again tomorrow with some more strategy drop. Thank you for listening. Peace out, everybody. And one other thing, if you have questions, if you think that you want to leave things in the comments, criticisms, I want to hear them. I don't claim to be the guru. I'd love to be able to iterate this and build what would be most useful to the folks that are going to get the most out of it. All right. That's it.